YouTube? Crash Wilcox. And today we're talking about PC parts. More specifically, we're going to talk about how I recommend going about getting PC parts. Now, I've talked about this in the past. I'm a huge fan of budget gaming, and I think there's great options in the budget gaming world. More specifically, when you're talking about buying used parts, open box, refurbished, whether you're talking about motherboards, down on the end, you're talking about graphics cards, talking about RAM, CPUs even, SSDs, and then all the way down to keyboards. Everything that you see up here, I've purchased used, refurbished, open box, secondhand, and they're all in computer builds. They're all working perfectly. In fact, the computer that I'm making this video on right now is utilizing this used i7-8700K, this open box ASRock Z390 Phantom Gaming motherboard, this used 1080 Ti from Zotac, using those secondhand M.2 NVMe hard drives, using used DDR4 3200 megahertz RAM, and it's working great. So in this video, I'm going to take you through some of the websites that I use and how I go about searching on there for the used parts and why I recommend those. So some of these websites you've obviously heard of before, they're the big dogs, but then some of them you may not have heard of. I know I've talked to people in the past that have helped build computers and stuff and recommending some of these sites they've never heard of before, and they're pretty great places to go. So don't be afraid of used parts. The whole crypto mining craze thing, I don't know if that's a real thing anymore, but great value in used parts. Save your money. If you got more of it than you know what to do with, there's a link to my Patreon page down below, and I would certainly appreciate you throwing a few shekels my way. It would help this channel out a great deal. But with that being said, we're going to jump into the computer and take a look at some of these sites. All right, so here we are now in front of the computer. But before we jump into the actual websites that I use to buy parts and how I go about buying them, I just want to make two quick points. And the first one is building your computer for what your actual needs are. I just got done reading a Facebook post, I think it was last night, on one of the PC building groups that I follow. And the guy basically put up his PC part list, and asked for recommendations, which is pretty common. And the PC parts list was it was a Ryzen 9 3950X, 2080 Ti, and then you scroll down to the bottom and it's dual 1080p monitors. So I left in the comment that, what are you doing, man? That's way too much computer for what you're actually trying to game on. So, I pulled up here just FPS benchmarks for certain graphics cards. So in my mind, if you're gaming on a 1080p monitor, unless you're like a professional gamer, if you're just a casual gamer and that sort of stuff, right here, RX 580, 74 FPS on a 1080p monitor, 52 on a 1440, 30. These are just random games, like average on GPU check. So you can average on like AAA games on a 1080p monitor, 75 FPS with an RX 580. And I'm not going to, I don't want to tell people how to spend their money. If you want to buy that much computer and play it on a 1080p monitor, that's fine. You're not utilizing those parts to their full benefit. And really, I don't think you're spending that money in the best way. And, if you got that much money to throw around for 1080p gaming, maybe go to my Patreon page, throw in a few bucks a month. I could really use the help. But just building for what you need. If you're gaming on 1080p, save yourself some money, or spend that money in a better place than a 2080 Ti. Maybe get some better hard drives, some more hard drive space. Maybe get some better RAM, or, maybe, step up that processor. those sorts of things that can help you out. But just, you know, building towards what you actually need and not being so caught up in the fact that, like, oh man, 2080 Ti is the best graphics card in the market, I'm going to grab it. Or hey, the 30 series of RTX cards are coming out, I'm going to go buy that. And, these companies know that that's what we do. And that's why they charge what we charge. So the next thing I want to say is, you're not getting value for your money if you just go out and buy whatever the newest, greatest thing is. So here I have an example, the Intel Core i9-10980XE Extreme Edition. Intel recommends $999 for the processor. But if you go just to the last generation, the 9980XE, they were charging $2,000 for the same for a processor that's slightly worse. So why did they do that? Because the 3000 series of Threadripper came out this year and it blew Intel out of the water. So they cut their price in half, which tells you they were gouging the crap out of you if you would have bought the i9-9980XE. They're making a profit, probably a hefty profit, on the 10980XE for $1,000. So what kind of profit were they making on the 9980XE where they were charging double? So, it's not a problem unique to computer parts, but it's unique to all of American life. We just want the newest, the best, whatever, even if it isn't that much better than the other. If it's new, we want it, and we'll pay whatever we can. We'll go into debt to get it. And I just think it's unwise. Much like building too much computer for what you actually need, just going out to buy the newest because it's new is not the best use of money, in my opinion. Now, again, if you have enough money that this doesn't make a difference to you, then God bless you, man. Go out and spend it. And then when you're done with it in 6 months, put it on the used market, and someone like me will go and pick it up for a steal. So with that being said, just keep that stuff in mind when you're building your parts. I don't want you guys to go into debt, putting PC parts on a credit card and stuff like that. I think it's unwise. You can get great value for less money than you think. You don't always need to have the newest. Let somebody else that makes a bunch of money go out and get the newest. Let them get tired of it in 6 months or a year. Let them put it on one of these websites I'm going to show you, and you go and grab it for a lot less money. So with that being said, we'll jump into some of these, and we'll start with the ones that you already know about. And I'm not going to go through every website, just kind of the big ones that I tend to go to. eBay, obviously, everybody goes to eBay. The only thing I wanted to make note of on eBay, I'm not a big fan of the auction system. It's kind of a pain, and eBay doesn't really do it well. I mean, I'm not a fan of, you spend 6 days watching an item, making bids on it, only to have someone come in at the last 1 second and beat your bid and you lose it. That's not cool to me. So what I would do, I just put 5700 XT in here. But if I always come down here and I would just go to the accept offer. This is really the only way that I look for items on eBay, because I think you can get good value if you can actually talk to the person, haggle with the person, and that sort of thing. So right here, 500 or 5700 XT Red Devil, they want $400 for it, but they'll accept best offer. So I mean, who knows? You may be able to lowball this guy for $325, and now you got yourself a great GPU for a good value. And you can do this with everything, and you can even message the people on eBay and ask them and say, "Hey, man, you're charging, $400 for a GPU that isn't worth $400 anymore." Like, whatever. You make your case and maybe get an even better value. So that's how I like to use eBay. Like I said, just searching for the products that you want and then just coming down to the accept offer. That's the only way that I really like to shop on eBay. Otherwise, I think it's largely a pain in the butt. So accept offers. Then moving on to Newegg. Get a lot of really good deals on Newegg. If you haven't signed up for their email deals, sign up for their email deals. They send them out every day. There's some good value in there. And if you're just patient and you watch, you can get some good stuff in there. They have their email deals here. They have their tab right here for today's best deals. But what I like to do again, so whatever you're looking for, let's say you want to check out, again, RX 5000 series. What I always do, same thing here. I come down, I'm going to look for refurbished and open box. And if they'll have used here as well. And this is the way I would shop on Newegg. So again, here goes another Red Devil, or not a Red Devil, but a Red Dragon, $389, a little bit more expensive, but again, you're working with Newegg, not eBay. So, but this is how I like to shop on Newegg. I'm a big fan of the open box, big fan of the refurbished. I bought plenty of stuff. The stuff that you saw down on that desk we talked about with some open box and refurbished stuff down there as well. So that's what I like on Newegg. The email deals and the refurbished open box or the used stuff on Newegg is a good value. Then moving on to the next big dog, Amazon. Amazon has great used deals. So I just have these ones. I just searched Z390 motherboard, and right here, right off the bat, Z390 Pro, not, a top of the line Z390, but $127 new. You can get it for $67 used. That's what I'm talking about. That's some good budget gaming. So same thing here at Asus Prime, a better motherboard, $92 used. An Aorus Pro Wi-Fi, $140 used. Or that's the kind of stuff that I like to look for on Amazon. I bought used stuff on Amazon, never had an issue. And I think that's another point to make. People are still sort of caught up in this whole like used PC market, and you hear it a lot with GPUs, like, oh, the crypto mining, like, is that really a thing in 2020? I don't know. I bought used GPUs, like we talked about that 1080 Ti, not an issue. Thing is a beast. So don't be afraid of this. I mean, again, it's your money, spend it as you will, but you will find good value on the Amazon used market. So I recommend that. One that's less known probably, and it's not as well stocked, but PCSwaps.com. I have looked on here. They don't always have a ton of stuff. It kind of ebbs and flows as far as how much is on here. But the good thing about this one, same thing like eBay with the accept offers, is you can actually reach out to the people and you can, message them right here, and then you can actually make an offer. So again, that haggling a little bit maybe get you a better deal than you otherwise would. So $135 for a 1050 Ti, yeah, right. So you might be able to throw this dude $80 maybe. You can message him and tell him that, hey man, you're charging way too much. I'll give you $80 for this thing, or whatever happens to be. Get yourself a good value. That's how I almost bought a i7 8700K this way. Had the guy, I think, something fell through at the last minute, but he actually accepted an offer, and then he wound up not being able to deliver on it. But you can see there's some stuff on here, and like I said, it kind of ebbs and flows. So check this one. Don't expect a ton out of PC swaps, but there is some good value that you can find on here. And then moving on from PC swaps, the two that I am the biggest fan of right here, number one is Facebook Marketplace. Well, number two, this is not my favorite. Facebook Marketplace, again, for the very same reason as eBay's accept offer and PC swaps, is you can haggle. You can message people and you can potentially bring that price down a little bit. So $340 for a 260 RTX 2060, like, no, not paying that. But you can message the guy, let him know he's charging too much, potentially get yourself some value there. And then also there's just good value, on all of this stuff. I mean, I bought, in fact, the 8700K that I wound up getting was purchased off of Facebook Marketplace, and it was shipped to me from Utah. And I believe I got it for around $280. The guy originally, the price that he was originally selling it for was around $350, which, why would you buy a used processor, especially an older processor, for $350? But I got it for $280, which I think is a good value for an 8700K. Still a great CPU. So a lot of good stuff that you can find on here. So here you go. An i7 8700K for $325. Again, you may be able to talk this guy down. Most likely you can, if you're willing to haggle a little bit and get yourself a great CPU for a pretty good value. And then moving on from there, my favorite site, the one that I use more than any other site to buy used parts, is Mercari.com. So I don't know how many people know about this. I've talked to a few people that are in the PC building. They're kind of just new getting into it, and they don't know much about Mercari. So if you guys don't, this is a great website. So you can go on here, and again, much like the Facebook and the PC swaps, you can message to people and you can make offers, which is a wonderful way to try to get some good value on PC parts. So much like any site, people always try to jack their prices up way higher than they should, like $480 for a used RTX 2070. No. But, and you don't see it on the website, but if you download Mercari app, and I'll pull these pictures up so you can see them, they give you the opportunity to make an offer on the product, and then it'll give you a range of prices that you can offer. So the good and the bad is they give you ranges, like I think up to 20% off. The bad is you can't really go lower than that without messaging the seller. But so if you had this card and they, told you could get it for 20% off, and you wanted to offer lower than that, you could message the seller and say, hey man, I'll give you $350 for that. Would you accept it? And they obviously have the choice to. But this is by far the site that I use the most, and I've never run into a problem with the products that you get on here. The cool thing about Mercari is they do not allow you, or once you buy the product and it comes to your house, they don't release the money to the buyer until you look at the part. You get 3 days after the part arrives to inspect it and make sure it works before you give the buyer the seller a thumbs up, and then Mercari will release the money to them. So it's safe on your end. If the product sucks, you can just tell them it sucks and send it back, and it will not affect you in any way. So those are the sites that I typically use, and I would recommend that if you are getting into PC building and you don't just have a stockpile of cash laying around, please look into the used market. It's just like buying a new car nowadays. Everybody wants to go out every year or two and buy a brand new, truck. And that's the reason why a new, GMC Sierra costs $70,000, is because they know whatever the price tag is, people are going to go out and buy it. The same reason why that Intel i9-9980XE was $2,000 last generation, and it's $1,000 this generation, and it's a better CPU. It's because they realized nobody's willing to pay $2,000 for that anymore because of Threadripper. So much like the 2080 Ti has no competition, so they could set their price to whatever they want. But because they know there's no competition and we're just going to continue to spend money on it, they'll say, it's $1,200 for a GPU. There's no reason for that other than we continue to pay it. So my advice, stop paying it. Start buying stuff on the used market. You can find used GPUs. If you find a used RTX, it's not abused for the most part. It's a fairly new card. You can feel safe in the fact that, it's not going to be a hunk of junk. So I hope you guys found this video worthwhile. Again, please like it, subscribe to the channel if you could. There'll be links down in the description to the Patreon page and some Amazon and eBay affiliate links. All that stuff directly contributes to the channel, which would be greatly, greatly appreciated. So again, hope you guys found this useful. Go out, buy some used parts. Game on. God bless.